What happened between Natalia Grace and the man's family? Good American Family captures the start. Played by Christina Hendricks and Jared Haynes, Indiana couple Cynthia and Antoine Mans are introduced in the 6th episode of Good American Family, a Hulu miniseries inspired by the story of Natalia Grace. Natalia Grace is a Ukrainian orphan with dwarfism whose time with adoptive parents Michael and Christine Barnett made headlines when the Barnetts accused her of being a grown woman posing as a little girl when they adopted her in 2010. Medical and DNA tests later suggested this was not true, and not before the Barnetts had legally changed Grace's birth certificate to reflect a birth year of 1989, so that Grace would be considered an adult, according to a 2021 document from the Court of Appeals in Indiana obtained by TODA.com. By 2013, they had moved to Canada with their biological children and abandoned Grace in an apartment in Indiana, per the document from the Indiana Court of Appeals. While living alone in Tippecanoe County, Indiana, that Grace met Cynthia and Antoine Mans, per the document from the Indiana Court of Appeals. Read on to learn more about the Mans family, what Grace has said about them, and where their relationship with Grace stands today. How did Antoine and Cynthia Mans come into Natalia Grace's life? Antoine Mans and Cynthia Mans are a couple who previously lived in Indiana, but now live in Tennessee, according to public records seen by TODA.com. They met Grace in 2013 when she was living alone in an apartment in Lafayette, Indiana. Michael and Kristen Barnett moved to Canada without her, per the document from the Indiana Court of Appeals. Soon after meeting the Manses, Grace moved in with them, per the document from the Indiana Court of Appeals. The Manses testified during the 2022 trial of Michael Barnett, who was along with wife Christine Barnett, was facing multiple charges involving his alleged treatment of Grace, including neglect of a dependent. Michael Barnett was acquitted of his charges, and the charges against Christine Barnett were dismissed. Cynthia Mans testified that she and her husband charged Grace $250 per month in rent. She also said she taught Grace how to read, write, and do math, according to the Lafayette Journal and Courier. In 2016, the Manses filed a court petition seeking guardianship of Grace. Michael Barnett filed an objection, arguing that Grace was an adult because her legal birth year had been changed from 2003 to 1989, according to a document from the Court of Appeals of Indiana viewed by TODA.com. The Manses fought for the court to vacate the original age change order, but were unsuccessful at the time. They formally adopted Grace in June 2023. What happened between Grace and the Manses? In The Curious Case of Natalia Grace documentary, the Mans family was initially shown as supportive of Grace. Antoine Mans was present when Grace received the DNA test results that confirmed she had indeed been a girl when the Barnetts adopted her, not a grown woman masquerading as a child. Mans, a Christian pastor, also intervened during Natalia's explosive confrontation between her and Michael Barnett shown in the documentary. "Let's respect God in this place. Let's not use curse words," he said. Michael Barnett walked off the set. However, not long after the Manses formally adopted Grace, the relationship between them appeared to sour. In 2023, the Manses called the producers of The Curious Case of Natalia Grace and told them there was a situation with their adopted daughter. "Something ain't right with Natalia," Antoine Mans said on the call, as shown in a recorded call that was included in the docuseries. "Natalia does not have emotions for nothing but herself," he also said on the call. We're done with her." The Manses accused Natalia's boyfriend, a man named Neil living in the UK whom Grace met online, of trying to manipulate Grace. "This guy just completely flipped Natalia's mind against her family," Cynthia Mans said in the documentary. "And he convinced Natalia that what he was saying was right, and we were wrong." Neil reached out to the DePauls, a couple with dwarfism in New York, who had originally attempted to adopt Natalia, Nicole DePaul told People. He said he felt Grace was in danger. "It was probably a month of communicating with him daily, and he was communicating with her. Then I knew we had to do something," Nicole DePaul told People. After about a decade of living with the Manses, Grace began planning to leave their household for that of Nicole and Vincent DePaul.